Hey, I'm PJ, exercise physiologist, xgym founder, personal trainer, research nerd, and somewhat of a mask specialist because I have actually researched this for over 15 years, mainly because of a sport I was in, but also because of flying on airplanes and frequently getting sick after races. The reason I'm making this video is because one of my members had an emergency medical situation with one of her kids, which is in another video, I'll link it. But it really raised a good point that I already knew, but not to the extent of how bad it actually can be with oxygen deprivation and CO2 buildup. So I wanted to make this video to help you, to give you some breathing hacks. So when you do find yourself in a mask, you'll know how to avoid an emergency medical situation. This video is for everybody, no matter what side you're on. Whether you believe everything the CDC says, or whether you think this current pandemic is a hoax, you're probably going to be wearing a mask at some point. And if it's going to be extended period of time or the wrong kind of mask, you need to know. So I've got some tips on breathing because that can be problematic. If you don't understand the physiology and the restrictions behind masks, you can have problems. There's actually OSHA laws that require employers to provide an atmosphere for their employees of 19.5% oxygen. Air is 21%. So that's not a very big reduction in oxygen. So if you're an employer and you're requiring your employees to wear masks for extended periods, you could be violating OSHA laws. But then again, if you don't require your employees to wear the masks and you're mandated to, then you're violating the mandate laws. So either way, you're screwed. So what you need to understand is how to instruct the employees on how to breathe in it and understand the different kinds of masks, the most common kinds anyways that I found. Our CDC director is telling us from the website that the virus is spread through droplets, and this is also the reason for the 6 feet social distancing rule. So the chances of someone coming up close to you and sneezing or coughing in your face is pretty slim, but apparently that's why we're all wearing masks, in case that happened. The last time it happened to me was 24 years ago when my daughter was a toddler and she didn't know any better. But anyways, all masks will help with the droplet control. It'll help droplets from other people sneezing on you at close range, from landing on you in places where it could go in your body, like your nose and your mouth. And it is important also to know that from my research, and do your own research on this, that masks will not help to block viruses. Even the N95 mask, it can get through because viruses are so darn small. But masks will help with the whole droplet thing, so if that's the theory going around right now. So the first mask is the paper mask. This is not a cloth mask, this is a paper mask. This is the category. And this is the one that you see, it's disposable. Stores are handing them out for free if you don't have a mask with you, and you just put it on like that, and it's got a little metal part up here that goes to your nose. So there's lots of space. You've probably noticed that there's lots of space for air to go out and in around the mask. Air has to follow the path of least resistance, just like water. Everything does that. So 99% of the air that's coming into your lungs is going in through the sides and these holes up here, even though I've got the thing crimped down through here, and it's coming in through the sides. As soon as I breathe in, there's negative pressure inside, positive pressure out here in comparison. So it pulls it right in through all these things, the easiest places for it to get in, not through here. But it does help stop the spread of the droplets. This is probably my favorite mask because it restricts airflow the least. There's the most leakage out the edges, so you get that proper airflow. But with this one, you actually have to throw it away because you can't wash it. So you have to throw it away after every use because it will catch condensation and moisture, and that's a problem because the moisture, of course, keeps the bugs in there, and so your body can't naturally exhale everything like it's supposed to. It's part of your immune system is to get rid of things through your exhaled breath, and this will trap them and keep them in there. The next one is the cloth mask. So this is cotton, and I took a puffy pen and I drew a smile on it. So this one is okay, but it collects more moisture even than the paper mask, so it's going to be problematic with that. So you totally have to wash it after every use. Or put it under a UV light, really powerful UV light that I have for my trainers. And you'll notice that when you inhale with this, it sucks in. It doesn't mean air is going through the cotton, it just means it's coming through faster through the places of less resistance And I can feel it. I can feel the coolness right around my nose and my chin and coming in through here. But because of the restriction of airflow, I am getting less oxygen in and it's harder to breathe. And because of the restriction, people unconsciously breathe shallower. And so that's a good one to keep in mind. And I'll show you a hack on that later. So that's the cloth mask. And then we go to the paper cone mask. This is a surgical mask. So this is surgical grade. You'll see doctors with these. And again, it's great to stop droplets and moisture and spray. And this is why doctors wear it. So when I started researching masks 15 years ago for my sport that I was doing, tower running, where you're running up inside stairwells of skyscrapers, I found this was the best mask because it has the best airflow in. I can get a lot of air in through here, so that's great. And it's coming in through the sides too, so there's lots of air coming in. So it is really permeable, awful for stopping even bacteria that are way bigger than viruses, but it won't do any of that. But it lets the most air in. Also, you have a cone here, a space where you are going to be exhaling carbon dioxide, and then you inhale that back in along with your own humidity, and that's why I got it from my particular sport, so I could lubricate my airway. But doctors wear them so when they're operating on somebody, they don't accidentally spit. And because even when you're talking, you can have, one of those little things and, you talk to your friend, you're embarrassed and you apologize. And, oh, sorry about that. And especially if you're out in the sun, direct sun, you can really see those things. They don't go very far unless you're coughing or sneezing, then they really go. But then, they just come about down to here. But that's where the surgeon is working. So if he's doing that, some of his spit is going inside the open cavities of the body of the person that he's working on, and that's gross. And it could be infectious, and it could have something in it, in those droplets. So they wear these. And also so, skin doesn't fall off because we're constantly sloughing skin too. And that's why they have a hat on to get their hair so it doesn't fall in there. And so that's the main reason surgeons wear these. That's not the only kind they have, but this is a very common kind. And then you've got the fiber, paper, cloth-ish kind of thing. That's the dust mask, and that's what this is. So this is usually a white color, and this is what, woodworkers wear, and it's great for dust because those are big, huge particles, and it keeps them out. This one also is coming in through the sides even more than this cone paper mask because it's less permeable, it's thicker, and so you can feel the airflow around it and not really through it. Kind of like the first two, the paper and the cloth that I showed you. And then there's the synthetic masks. And this one has the thing that goes all the way around the head, which is kind of nice, if you have irritable ears. And so you can see this one is very restrictive. It's synthetic, airflow is awful. I'm getting all my airflow through everywhere else except through the mask, but it is going to help protect from coughing out droplets on other people if I was a toddler. And then there's this one here that is also synthetic. And this is the one you see a lot of people wearing, the bandana style. And I got this one because it just makes me laugh. I mean, there's so much craziness going on right now. You gotta have fun with it. You gotta laugh a little bit. It's a monkey face. So I can walk around on this and I can look like a monkey. Makes me laugh, makes other people laugh. But as you can see, it's super restrictive. And this is probably the worst as far as airflow goes, and probably the worst as far as people understanding me, because, I've got super restrictive airflow right now. It's kind of like when the bank robbers come in and they're robbing a bank and they're yelling all these things at the top of their lungs. You can't understand anything they're saying, but then you're afraid to ask them to repeat themselves because you think they're going to shoot you in the face. And you've probably noticed this with other humans around, that communication is just really a lot harder. So then the next kind of mask is the face shield. It's not really a mask, it's a face covering. And the CDC is still saying cloth face masks, even though the CDC director showed a paper one. So it's pretty confusing. And so some stores are going to not allow this, but as far as the droplets go, this is gonna work. And so this is what my trainers are wearing because this is the best as far as airflow goes, minimal restriction. Because look at this, I mean, air is just, it's not a problem at all. I'm not gonna have low oxygen levels. I'm not gonna have high carbon dioxide levels, just way too much airflow in there. So I wear this in as much as I can around when I'm mandated and I can't go in a store to buy things. You know, liberties are taken away because I don't have a mask on. So I will wear this and see if I can get away with it. I couldn't in the Apple store. They did say, you're going to have to put on another mask underneath that mask. So, okay, I didn't. I stayed outside the store and just made them come and bring me stuff. But then there is the electric fan mask. This is really cool. This took a long time to get because it was on a really slow boat from China. But this mask has a little battery in it. It's actually chargeable, USB chargeable. And you can turn on the fan. You can hear it. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? And communication, forget talking to people, but it's actually blowing in. It's moving air in, and it's moving it through this filter. They say it's HEPA, but it's not. So it's not going to filter out viruses, but maybe some bacteria. And then you stretch these things over your face, and the only problem with this one is coming from China, it's made for a Chinese face. And so somebody with a big Italian nose like mine, it doesn't work out. So but I don't really care as far as I just want the airflow, and it serves the purpose of stopping the droplets that the CDC says are the problem. Of course, this is not cloth, so I don't know if the Apple store is gonna let me in this one or with this one or with this one, or this is synthetic, so technically, anyways, we're all confused, right? And then here's a respirator. So the reason I have this and have had it for 12 years is for airplanes. So this actually does reduce the amount of bacteria coming in drastically, and significantly viruses. Doesn't get them all. There's no way, because even though there's tons of layers of really fine material, it still can't get them all if it's in an aerosol form. It also has a valve that exhales, so it doesn't protect other people around me if we're talking aerosols, but it protects them from my droplets. So it just goes on like this. The reason it works is because there's actually a seal. There's a rubber seal, and it works. And you can see when I breathe in, you'll see these things suck in because the air is actually going through the filters. It's going out the valve here, making me sound like Darth Vader, and it's coming in through the filters. Luke, I am your father. So this did keep me from getting sick on airplanes. I would highly recommend one of these. This is 3M, and it's this filter, and it's great. In fact, I don't think I ever got sick when I wore one of these on the airplane, but I got sick often when I was wearing one of these or no mask after a race because of the throat thing and the capillary thing, long story. So those are the most common kinds of masks and face shields. There are other masks with valves and filters, and the filters are fine, you know, coming in, and it'll keep out dust, but not microbes. And a lot of them claim to be HEPA, or N95 is really good, a lot better, closer to HEPA, but they aren't HEPA. And if they were HEPA, then it would be really hard to pull air in, and they would have to have a seal like the respirator that I have. So regardless of whatever mask you're wearing, it's important to know some breathing hacks so your oxygen level doesn't get too low like my member's son, and can result in an emergency like with him. So you can prevent that by two main hacks that I have. One is inhale through your nose, because that's going to change your pattern of breathing, help you, remind you to naturally inhale more instead of breathing shallow. And it also increases nitric oxide levels in your body, which reduces your demand for oxygen. And nitric oxide is just a really healthy thing to have. So it's good, even if you're not wearing a mask, to breathe through your nose as much as possible. Then you're going to want to exhale fully. If you exhale fully and blow all your air out, you will necessarily inhale, because you'll have to, and you will do it more naturally. And so notice how that feels, and notice how you do it, because that'll be how you train yourself, how to inhale and how that feels. But there's a ton more I could go into on that. But to keep it simple, two things. Breathe in through your nose as much as you can and deeply, and exhale fully. And that full exhale will force you to inhale and take in more air than you normally would. The other reason for that full exhale is most people are breathing in the top half of their lungs just normally throughout the day, because that's what we do. And so the oxygen isn't even reaching half of their lungs to be able to take it through with those little alveoli things in there. So this is how I do it. So I exhale and then I give a little, like a cough almost, to get some more out. And then my body naturally says, whoa, there's no air in there. My next breath in is deep, and I do it naturally without even thinking about how to do it. So that's how you're going to get oxygen to more alveoli in your lungs, more areas of your lungs for better absorption, and to get carbon dioxide out of there, because that's a very important part of your physiology too. People also breathe in the top third of their lungs when they're stressed or when their breathing is restricted, because the body is designed to be efficient. So if breathing is hard, the body wants to find the easier way, and so it just breathes less and shallow. And that can be a big problem and can really add up over time and cause an emergency medical situation. So be mindful of that, especially with long periods of time of shallow breathing. That's where it's the big problem. So if you're inhaling through your nose and exhaling fully, you're not going to be doing that top third. And if you are stressed about the restrictive airflow or just everything that's going on, I mean, there's so many reasons to be stressed right now, then this full exhale technique will actually help with that too. It's a hack that I learned in tower running, where when I'm towards the top of that building and I'm really stressed and it's really hard and I'm breathing really hard and I'm hyperventilating, is to blow it all out. It's the last thing my body wants to do, but I consciously do it. And it's a hack to get me out of fight or flight, so then I'm less stressed too. And of course, never drive with it on unless you're in an Uber and it's required, especially for a long period of time, or getting in the car after you've been wearing it for a long period of time and not knowing these hacks, because operating heavy machinery can kill you and somebody else if you have an event, where a low oxygen event. Plus, anytime you're low oxygen, even if it's not bad enough to pass out, your judgment is impaired and you're not making good decisions and your reaction time is slower and all that kind of stuff too. So I hope that helped. If you want more information, subscribe to my channel, and also put a link to the other video that I'm talking about, where I interviewed my member about her son who had an emergency event and was in the hospital for 3 days. And most of all, research things for yourself. So the way that I do it is I go to one side, like CNN, mass media, and see what they're saying. And then I go to the other extreme, conspiracy theorists, see what they're saying. And then then I have my boundaries, and then I go somewhere in the middle, is usually where I end up, and I find my own truth. So everything I've said today, you should question and assume it's not true. Assume I'm wrong. And then go research it for yourself. Might be a good starting point for you, and I hope this video helps. And I think if people do these breathing techniques, it's my personal opinion that it could even save lives. But like I tell everybody, believe no one, question everything, research it for yourself, and think for yourself, because it's not illegal yet. Now, the last thing, I can't imagine why they would censor this video, but since I've been surprised before, you have full permission to download this, copy it, of course, share it right now. Click subscribe, click the bell, and then later on, if maybe my channel even gets taken down, I don't care. I'm going to fight for my right to speak and free speech, and I'm going to fight for your right, even if you disagree with me. So if they go further and censor me even more, then you can always go to xgym.com, because that's my website. I've owned that since 1998. So you can always go there for information. If I disappear from other places, I'll have it there. And I'll have links to BitChute or some other source that doesn't censor. But I think the chances of that are pretty slim, so this will probably stay up. And then last thing, if you want to sign up for my VIP list to get information on health and fitness in your inbox, then here's the link. I'll also put it down below. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless America. And we're still the freest country on the globe, so hopefully we'll stay that way.